BRICS and OPEC. Two acronyms you've probably heard, but what do they actually mean? And why are people suddenly comparing them? One is a decades-old oil cartel, the other a political and economic alliance of emerging powers, stretching from Brazil and India to China and Russia, and now pulling in energy states like Iran and the UAE, hence the comparisons with OPEC. But here's the real question. Should we be comparing BRICS with OPEC, and do they even have the mechanism to act in the same way? If you like breaking down big shifts in energy and geopolitics, hit subscribe. It helps this channel grow and keeps you plugged in to future episodes. Alright, let's jump in. First, OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. It's been around since the 1960s, and its mission is simple: coordinate oil output to influence global prices. OPEC nations pump about 35 to 40% of the world's oil, and hold nearly 80% of proven reserves. By agreeing on production quotas, though members sometimes cheat, they can tighten or loosen supply to sway prices. To summarize, OPEC is a focused club of oil exporters working together to control the price of petroleum, at least in theory. Now BRICS, originally Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, but it's recently expanded to include energy heavyweights like Iran and the UAE, with Saudi Arabia waiting in the wings. Unlike OPEC, BRICS isn't an oil cartel. It's a political and economic alliance. Think of it as a big tent coalition of emerging powers. But here's the catch. BRICS doesn't even have the tools OPEC has. No quotas, no enforcement, not even a permanent secretariat. The only glue holding them together is political will and shared frustration with Western-led systems. And this is where the OPEC comparisons fall apart. OPEC's members are all exporters, who generally benefit from higher oil prices. BRICS mixes both exporters and importers. Russia, Iran, and the UAE want high prices, but China and India, massive importers, need cheap, stable energy. That tension alone makes it nearly impossible for BRICS to act like OPEC. Here's another key difference. OPEC is narrowly about oil. BRICS, on the other hand, stretches across multiple sectors. Take critical minerals. BRICS plus countries dominate global supply of the raw materials that power 21st century tech and the energy transition. China alone mines about 60% of rare earths and processes about 90%. Collectively, BRICS controls a treasure trove of resources: rare earths, lithium, metals. That's why some analysts warn they could form a cartel of minerals to influence prices or tilt the playing field in their favor. And it's not just resources. BRICS is building financial tools too. The new development bank, their alternative to the World Bank and IMF, is still small, but it signals ambition. They're also pushing trade in local currencies. That weakens Western sanctions, reduces reliance on the dollar, and slowly shifts trade patterns away from US-led institutions. This gets to one of the most talked about goals: de-dollarization. Today, oil trades in dollars. Central banks hold dollar reserves, and the US dollar dominates global markets. That gives Washington enormous strategic leverage. For countries under sanctions, like Russia and Iran, or facing rivalry with the US, like China, finding alternatives is essential. So, we see experiments: the BRICS Pay payment system for cross-border transactions, the NDB lending in local currencies, China paying Russia in yuan, India settling trade in rupees. All small steps, but together they chip away at the dollar's dominance. Donald Trump threatened tariffs up to 100% on BRICS members if they pursued a currency plan to undermine the dollar. With Russia and Iran on board, BRICS naturally leans towards sanction busting. At the 2024 BRICS summit, members explicitly opposed unilateral sanctions, which is code for US and EU restrictions not backed by the UN. This creates an anti-West solidarity, even if members don't agree on everything else. But let's not overstate BRICS unity. Its members clash too. China and India have fought border skirmishes and compete for influence in Asia. And don't forget the exporter-importer divide on energy. That's why BRICS doesn't. and can't act like OPEC. There's no alignment of interests, no quota systems, and no enforcement. So, is BRICS the new OPEC? Not really. OPEC is a cartel with one mission: oil. BRICS is something bigger and messier, an experiment in building a multipolar world without a single dominant power. The real story isn't whether BRICS becomes OPEC 2.0. It's how this bloc, with its mix of exporters, importers, and emerging powers, changes the rules of the game. If you enjoyed this video and are interested in more videos about how energy and geopolitics shape the world you live in, hit subscribe. It costs nothing and it helps support content like this.